Alright, so there were 100 million more questions about AOR, but I could not jam all of them in my computer screen. I tried, believe me, but my editing software froze on me and then filed a harassment suit against me, but I had to hire some cheap lawyers to sort all that out, but don't worry about that. The point is, IRCC finally sent me a big sign of relief, 4 to be exact, and I am here to discuss all that with you. So most of you who applied around the same time as me using the new online portal that I have been shouting about in my channel must have received similar communication also. Unfortunately, some of you must have received rejections also because you made a mistake in your application. Trust me, I made a mistake also, and that is why it took me so long to make this video. My first application was actually rejected, and I will be discussing all the reasons and everything that went wrong and how I corrected it in this video. So in this video, we'll cover the timeline of my spousal sponsorship application so far, including the first submission, first rejection, second submission, and first acceptance. Then we'll cover the reception of the first communication, including biometrics, medical, AOR, and pre-arrival services. We'll go over how to book your biometrics and medical. Then how to link your account or your permanent residence application to your GC key or the IRCC account, and what happens after you submit your medical and biometrics. What does the timeline look like after you've received and are done with this step of the process. Finally, along the way, we'll try to answer some of your most commonly asked questions and try to avoid potential mistakes that could lead to rejection. For those new to this channel, my name is Suyash. I live in Toronto and I make YouTube videos in my spare time. Making these videos takes a lot of research and patience, but thanks to the painful spousal sponsorship process, patience is all I've learned. And I'm pretty sure most of you must have also. But I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. Let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first, the timeline so far. So, the first time I submitted the spousal sponsorship application was August 15, 2021 using the new online permanent resident portal, okay? And I know that most of you also must have used the same portal. And I got my first rejection on October 26, 2021. And the reason for that rejection was the missing signature on form 1344. And I know a lot of you are confused about the signature portion because there are conflicting instructions on the IRCC website versus the PDF forms once you finish validation, okay? So, the mistake I made was not to sign 1344. So, the forms 1344, 5532 and 5476, which is the representative form, if applicable, must be signed by both the spouse and the sponsor, whether you are applying on paper, the traditional route, or online with the new online permanent resident portal. Okay, so don't make that mistake. If you haven't applied yet, sign these 3 forms. Both of you will have to sign it. And to learn more about this process, which forms to sign, which not to sign, I made an entire video after being a victim of this process myself, and I've posted it on my channel. So it should be showing up on the cards here and it's linked in the description below. Definitely check that video out. It will clear most of your confusion about the signature. Alright. So after being completely devastated on October 26, 2021, we started the process all over again on October 27th, 2021. I filled out each and every form again, signed the forms which were supposed to be signed, me and my wife both signed them, and then finally we uploaded the application on the online portal again on October 27th, 2021. Yes, I did that in one day because I was too desperate to get that off my chest. Then on January 24th, 2022, in about 87 days, I received a big sign of relief from IRCC, 4 to be exact. First one was the biometrics instruction letter on January 24th. Then on January 25th, 2022, the next day, I received the request for medical for my wife. And same day later, I received the first AOR, which means they started processing our application. Then as of today, January 29th, 2022, I received the pre-arrival services. Me and my wife both received that. So along this video, we are going to cover each of these updates one by one. Let's begin with the biometrics. Alright, so this is the biometrics instruction letter that I received in my email. The email that I provided when I did the spousal sponsorship application. Remember, the email you provide is the email they are going to use to communicate to you. So because I did my wife's application, I provided my sponsor's email or my email, and they sent me the first communication in that email. Okay. So this is the biometrics instruction letter sent to me on January 24th, 2022. As you see here, there is an application number which starts with F, which is for family. If you have submitted the application for a different program, let's say tourist visa, then you will see the letter V here instead of an F. I would suggest you come down straight to this page, and where it says for more information on where to give your biometrics, you are going to click this link. All right. Then it will get you to this CIC official page, which I'm going to link in the description below also. And this is where you are going to scroll down, and under biometric collection sites, you can actually filter for your country where the principal applicant needs to give biometrics. So my application was the Outland Spousal Sponsorship application. My wife is right now in India, so I am going to filter for India. And it gives me a bunch of options about the places where biometrics are done in India. And I know that I can even filter for big cities which have these biometric centers. And I see there's a India VAC available. So Visa Application Center is where you will get your biometrics. So I'm just going to click this link. It's going to take me to this page and going to ask a bunch of human, non-human questions. So answer those accordingly. And then finally, once you do that, you will get to this page. So this is the Vfs Global page. This is where you will book your biometrics, all right, from India. So you're going to click on book an appointment, click book now. Then you are going to scroll down, click on online, view more, and then you will click here to schedule an appointment. And then it gives you some basic updates about how they've changed due to the COVID. So they only now do the booking using the web form. This can change. So you are going to click on this web form, and this is where you're going to click on proceed. Select your center, so any city that applies to you, any city which is closest to where you live. Number of applicants is 1. And this is where you will enter your India mobile number, where they are going to send you an OTP. Once you enter that OTP, they will book your appointment. Right now, you cannot choose your slots. Remember that. They will choose a slot for you, okay? Alright, so this is the visa appointment letter that you will get in your email, okay? So then it says applicant name, the date, the appointment time, and the type of the appointment. And then it gives you the instructions that you have to follow to get this done correctly. So there's a couple of documents that you will have to take to the appointment center on the day of your appointment. Number 1 is the printout of this appointment letter. Second is your original identity document, most likely passport. Next is biometrics instruction letter. So this form 5756 which you received, you will have to take that. Remember, don't forget this form, because this form has barcodes which they are going to use to communicate your biometrics directly to IRCC. Okay, so take this form with you. Finally, you have to take a signed copy of the consent form. So you can just click this link here, and it's going to give you the consent form. So just download this, fill this out, all the details about the principal applicant. Remember, all these details will be for the principal applicant. You will just have to fill out this section: name, address, telephone number, email address, signature, date, signed at. So just fill out this section, print it out, sign it, and then take it along with all the other documents that we saw on this page, okay? And then on the day of your appointment, using the barcode on your 5756, they are going to send your details to IRCC directly, okay? Upon which they will begin your criminal background check. Alright, so next up is the medical examination instructions. This was sent to me on January 25th, 2022, as you can see here on my email, the sponsor's email, okay? So before we begin, let me tell you, this medical examination and your biometrics, you have to get that done within 30 days of them sending this to you. Which means if I receive this letter on January 25th, 2022, I have to submit this before February 25th, 2022, okay? So it has a bunch of instructions here, and it has the details already filled out for the principal applicant, and then boxes which are empty for the panel physician to fill, okay? And then it has the barcode and the IME number for the panel physician to communicate this to IRCC, okay? So to book your medical, you'll get to this section, who may complete your immigration exam, and just click this link. All right, this is where you will select the country. So this will be the country of the principal applicant. My wife is the principal applicant and she's in India, so I am going to select India. And then what it does is basically gives you a list of panel physicians that are available for India, and there's a bunch of panel physicians available. So how I would narrow this search is to search by my city. So because my wife is in New Delhi right now, she would search for New Delhi. So I'm just going to do a Control or Command F and search for New Delhi. And I get 6 hits. Remember, only select panel physicians from this official website. You cannot hire or select the panel physician of your choosing. So let's say my wife selects Supriya Bali in New Delhi as her panel physician. What she'll have to do is she'll have to call the numbers listed here and book the appointment. So once you book the appointment from the call, then this form 1017, which is the medical request form, has instructions on what to take. So first you will take the attached form, which means this form. Then you will take your identification, like biometrics we saw earlier, just take your passport. If you wear glasses, then you will take your glasses or contact lenses, and 4 recent photographs. So the thing about photographs is you only need to take these photographs if the panel physician that you're going does not work with a system known as e-medical. E-medical is basically a way of communicating your medical results electronically to IRCC. Most panel physicians should have that. If your panel physician doesn't have e-medical, then they will require you to present photos. So when you make the appointment, just ask them, do you work with e-medical? If not, then you'll have to bring the photos. Or you can just ask them, do I need to bring photos? Okay. By the way, these medicals will be valid for 1 year. So, which means that once you get your COPR, which is the confirmation of permanent residence, you can use that to travel to Canada for as long as your medical results are valid. If your application is delayed for some reason, then you may have to get your medicals again, even if your application is approved, in order to travel to Canada. Alright, so keep that in mind. Most likely you will get the COPR while the medicals are still valid, which happens for the majority of cases. So you are just going to be able to travel to Canada with the first medical results. Alright. So now let's look at the third document, which is the AOR. Alright, so this is the AOR email that I received on January 25th, 2022. As you can see, it has the UCI and the application number, and it is addressed to me. It says, this confirms that your application to sponsor a member of the family class has been received by CIC on October 27, 2021 on behalf of the following members, which is my wife. Okay. So it gives you some basic instructions about how to interpret this document, what happens next, but I'm going to be covering that in detail, so I'm not going to go over this. This document essentially means that the immigration officer has checked the sponsorship application that I submitted for my wife for completeness, meaning they've checked that I've submitted all the forms and all the documents that are needed to complete the application. This does not mean that the application is approved. They are yet to assess the eligibility of the sponsor and the eligibility of my wife. But this basically confirms that all the required forms with signatures are submitted and the application is complete with all the basic documents that they need in the beginning. So this is a good sign. It means that your application is now ready to move to the next stage. Now it is at this completeness check stage that they will return most of the applications. The reason they return is if the important forms are not submitted, or the important forms are not complete, or the important forms are not signed, the ones that need signature. They will also return your application if they don't feel that you are a good fit, or if you haven't uploaded the documents that needed to be uploaded in the basic application submission. Alright, so getting the AOR means that your forms and documents are in good standing, and now your application will move to the next stage. Of course, down the line, they may ask for additional documents, but there is a good chance you will not receive a rejection after this. Alright, so now let's look at the fourth communication that I received on January 29th, 2022, which is the pre-arrival services letter. So this is the pre-arrival services letter that me and my wife both received in our emails. And this is a very good sign, because basically it means that the applicant, the principal applicant, which is my wife, has now passed the basic eligibility assessment, and the immigration officer most likely has determined the validity and the genuineness of the relationship between my wife and me, which means between the applicant, principal applicant, and the sponsor. So you can expect your criminal background check and medical processing to begin very shortly, upon which you will receive the COPR. So I was prepared to wait another 3 or 4 months after the biometrics request, but now after receiving the pre-arrival services, I'm actually very hopeful, and I'm excited that my wife may get the COPR request in the next month or so. But I'm keeping fingers crossed. I don't really know when it's going to happen. It could take longer also. But if you've received something like that, it's a very good sign, and you have earned some celebration for sure. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is how to receive these updates in your email, and you do that by linking your permanent resident application to the IRCC account. So let's look at that next. So the first thing to know is you can only do that once you've received an application number and a UCI. So once I submitted the application and I received all the communication that I just showed you, all those communication emails have a application number that starts with F assigned to it for family and the UCI which was assigned to my wife. So now my wife can actually create an account, or if she already has an account on the IRCC website, she can actually link it to that application to receive status updates. The online account on the IRCC is not the same as the permanent resident online portal account that you created to submit your application. So what you see on the screen right now is the online permanent resident portal through which you submitted your application. As it says here, the application has been submitted on October 27th, 2021 for my wife's sponsorship. And as you can see, the action is grayed out. So it's not going to probably open up because they won't communicate the status updates through this portal, which you used to submit your application, the online PR portal. They are actually going to communicate with you using the IRCC website, IRCC online account, which is this page. So you will have to create an account if you don't already have one, or if you already have an account, then you will have to link your permanent resident application with your online account so that you can start to receive status updates. The second question a lot of people ask is who can link this account? So both the sponsor and principal applicant can create their accounts in this portal, and both of you can link the same application to the IRCC account. Alright, and you can do that using the GC key or the sign-in partner, however you want to register here. Most people will choose to register with the GC key, so you can basically link your GC key to the application for your permanent residence. So we are going to do that right now. All right, so I'm just going to click on sign in, and I'm quickly going to sign in using my, which means sponsors account. All right, so as you can see, this is my account, my personal account, and there are 3 applications here. So you don't have to worry about these 2 applications. These are older applications for my own PR that I did using the Federal Skilled Worker Program. And this one, the permanent residency application with this application number you see here for my wife, is the sponsorship application. And the reason it shows up here because I've already linked it, but I'm going to show you how to link this for yourself. All right, so what you are going to do is you're going to click on this add or link your application to your account. All right, this is where you will fill out some details to let them know which application to search for. So I'm going to select permanent residence here because that is the category. For subcategory, I am going to select family class spouses because that is the category I applied under. And then under application details, you can select 4 different ways by which you want them to search your application. I have found, in my personal opinion, the application number and family name works the best. I've had issues with all the other modes searching for my application, but if you can find your application using all the other 3 combinations, that's fine too. So I am just going to select application number and family name to search my application, and this is going to become clear in a second why I'm choosing this. So now I have to enter the application number which they assigned for the permanent residency. Then I have to type in the family name. So remember, this family name is the last name which the principal applicant, whose permanent residence application this is, wrote in form 0008. So this is how they will match the details that you list here with whatever application exists in their database. All right, so that's why you are going to use the family name which you used in your 0008. Let's say you select anything else, the UCI or application number, then you will have to use the application number and UCI assigned to the principal applicant. But most people have found this to not work very effectively. All right, so I would say go with the application number and family name. So I'm just going to enter family name, which was Mishra, and this was the last name she entered or I entered for her in form 0008. That's how they are going to match and search for it. Okay, so this is good. Let me tell you one more thing before we move forward. The details you enter here should only be of the principal applicant. Doesn't matter who is linking the application, not the sponsor's details. Otherwise, you may not be able to link it. All right. So then it says personal information. Please select one. So what do you want to search by? So I will search by place of birth. You can also search by passport. All right. This is where you list the city which you listed in your 0008 for the principal applicant. So I'm just going to list that city here. Then this is the country you listed in your 0008. 0008, by the way, is the generic application form for Canada. You need to submit that if you're applying for permanent residence for most programs. I have an entire video explaining how that form works for online, and it should be showing up on the cards here and linked in the description below. So check it out if you're looking to fill the generic application form for Canada, right? Then the province that you intend to live in. So again, enter the same details which you entered in your generic application form, all right? Now, when it comes to number of family members, including the primary applicant, for me and my wife, the primary applicant is just one. But there have been issues with this portal. If you just list one, it doesn't really find the exact match. So if there's only one principal applicant, which means if you are in this scenario where you're being sponsored by your spouse and there's nobody else in your family who's being sponsored, just one person being sponsored, then you are going to list two here. Okay? I know you're just one principal applicant, but this may not work with just one. So list at least two people because it counts the sponsor and the principal applicant both as family members for this website, for this account, all right? Don't confuse that with your generic application form. That is completely different. I'm just going to list two here because that's the way I found it to work. And I'm just going to click on search for my application, all right? So as you can see, it says this application has already been linked to the account because I showed you in the beginning, I've already linked my application. So if the application was not linked, it clearly found an existing application. So it would have told me that we found an existing application which you can link to this account, and then it's going to give you an option to link. So just click on that link button and then it's going to simply link your application to this account. And then you will receive status updates on your email and in this portal about every step of your application. All right. This portal is also where IRCC may ask you for additional documents to upload. So it's important to link your application to this portal so that if they need additional documents such as additional proof or financial support or whatever, they can just communicate to you and they can open up this portal for you, and then you'll be able to upload your documents. Not in this portal. They are not going to open this for upload. They are only going to return your application and communicate to you that it's been returned in this portal. Or down the line, once you land in Canada, they may open up this PR online portal for you to apply for your PR card. But for all the updates until then, you are going to use your linked account, all right? So that's why it's important to link. Okay, so once you're done with your medicals and biometrics and you've received the pre-arrival services letter, the next step is to just wait. Your biometrics will be sent to the IRCC and your background processing for any kind of criminal activity or deportation history is going to begin. And it can take from a few weeks to a few months to complete. So usually the biometrics and medicals are done around the same time, but obviously each case is unique, so they can take their own time. They can be sequential or they can run in parallel. All right, so you'll just have to wait and hope that you get some response in the next 3 or 4 months. Then once your biometrics and medicals have been approved and processed completely and there's no issues, you will get the request for your passport. And then you will send the passport to the requested destination, upon which it will get stamped with a immigrant visa and will be returned to you along with a confirmation of PR document, COPR. You are going to then use this document to travel to Canada for the first time. This will be your first entry or first landing document. You will also be carrying your passport, but you will need your COPR for your first entry. So for those who are yet to sponsor their spouses or are in the middle of sponsoring and need some help with the application process, I have some videos to help you out. If you're using the online portal, you must be experiencing some common technical issues. To learn all about that, you can click on this video here. To learn about photos, how to compress them, label them, upload them for your PR application, you can click on this link here. For proof of relationship documents, section 7 of 5533, you can click here. And finally, to watch a fun travel vlog, you can click on this link here. And to shut this face, you can just click on that cross button there. My name is Suyash, this is Hit Submit and Canada. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.